What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Game Show Invitational here on the Game Show Hitbox channel. We have Game 2 between Chappa and Power Rangers coming up. Power Rangers with the one-game lead. So Chappa, they have to bring it back, else they are just going to get kicked out of the tournament. I'm Mikelorus. Couchor is here as well, and we have a first pick Visage. This is something you don't see all that often, but you're just starting to see it a little bit more. Still a very interesting opening compared to the last game.
Yeah, and since draw isn't banned out, Power Rangers, they have to make a decision whether to pick up the draw ranger themselves or risk Chappa picking it. And I'm almost positive that if Power Rangers leave it open, it's going to be the second pick for Chappa.
Yeah, I mean, grabbing it early always has its risks, of course. Of course, you have broken amounts of damage, and that's always going to be good. But Power Rangers, they probably are going to prepare for this as soon as possible. Keep their options open with, Blinkers, Phantom Assassins, Slarks, Brood Mothers even. But it's a Shadow Demon first for the Power Rangers side. This is not really what you would expect, but Shadow Demon is definitely a hero that you want to build around. Beastmaster afterwards. They're just loading up on CC, I guess.
I mean, CC is never really going to be a bad thing. Also, just having the vision, although, Chappa, nope, gonna be a Magnus instead. So maybe they were hoping Power Rangers to panic a little bit and pick up the draw themselves and have it, like, somewhat useless afterwards. Or, of course, Power Rangers, we'll see if they are even tempted to ban it out or not. But they themselves, I mean, they have a pretty solid lineup, Beastmaster and a Shadow Demon. Hopefully they're gonna get something like a Leshrac, maybe a Lina to follow the Shadow Demon's disruption up properly. Although I wouldn't mind seeing a Shadow Demon Mirana roam as well every now and then.
I think, oh no, that was something else. Thinking about games I just saw with Burn United, I think that was just yesterday. It was a Bane Mirana, I think. Yeah, it wasn't the Shadow Demon Mirana, but it's the same thing for the most part. You disable them into an arrow. It works really well when it does work out. Otherwise, you kind of have to freehand your arrows, and, well, Sing Sing's Mirana can do that. In this game, though, it's not going to be the case just yet. We have Weaver and Lycan going to be banned out by Chappa. The only thing that those two heroes have in common is that they tend to move at very high movement speeds. So Chappa, maybe CC for them, or hard CC isn't really in the plan. Visage doesn't do well versus the Weaver and Lycan combo.
But Power Rangers for now, it is gonna be the Lina. So it's not entirely sure yet if it's gonna be like a roaming duo or not. It might still be like a Lina mid lane. Although, ever since the patch, Lina is more in a support role, at least more often than in the mid lane. Although I wouldn't say like that Lina got nerfed or anything. It was just Yaganim's extra range got taken away from it, right? For Laguna Blade.
I want to say she may have gotten like slightly nerfed otherwise, but not really by a lot.
So it just seems thinking that maybe other heroes are a little bit better. But if we're looking at Chappa now, last time they ran the Magnus as their offlaner. And for an offlaner, that did struggle a little bit in there. He got a really fast blink there. It was like 14 minutes in, I think. So if they're going to play it in the offlane again and get it as fast, it's going to be pretty excellent. Although they might just turn things around and send it into the mid lane this time. I suppose it's just going to depend on what Power Rangers themselves send into the mid lane.
Yeah, ideally you would like to have your Lina be with your Shadow Demon as soon as possible, or as often as possible, because disruption to LSA is a pretty great way to set up for really anyone to follow up at that point. But even if you put the Lina in the mid lane, that doesn't prevent you from having a roaming Shadow Demon towards mid. You still get the same setup. It's maybe not as good setting up on a Slark, but I'm assuming Chappa's Slark is going to be on the safe lane for now. And for Power Rangers, it just seems like Beastmaster is up to that task. It'll be a hard lane for him. That's not going to be really a question. But yeah, Lina, Shadow Demon, their setup is great on most heroes, but just not a Slark.
It's still not all that bad, I suppose, but Power Rangers, this is now the time to go for Bloodseeker. Bloodseeker. Bloodseeker, come on.
Is that like the new hero that we're hoping to see now?
It's
We've seen a little bit more CK.
Just...
Still not enough for me to be happy, but are we just on the Bloodseeker train now?
I mean, if it's up against a Slark, it just makes way more sense than it otherwise would.
Fair enough. Get
plus,
the ruptured.
You will never ever get stunned by familiars just because you're too fast for them.
Yeah, that's definitely gonna happen. Probably. You could always also grab an Ancient Apparition if you're looking for a good counter to Slark. Yeah, I just said it.
That's pretty nice as well. So now what you do is you send Lina mid lane, Beastmaster off lane, Bloodseeker safe lane, Ancient Apparition as the secondary support. Easy.
Everyone's happy. We all
Everyone's
win.
happy indeed.
Oh,
It's
man.
gonna be a Shadow Fiend though, and well, looking at game number 1, they definitely had success with that hero.
Yeah, I would say so. You do have the respect ban of Darkseer from the Chappa side. I think it was mostly in the laning stage, more so than anything else, that prompted that ban. Such a nuisance to deal with from Chappa. And also Surge is pretty great versus Grave Chill, and just gonna say that. So Shadow Fiend for Power Rangers. This is a hero that can very easily capitalize on the setup from Lina and Shadow Demon. You get the disruption up already. Shadow Fiend's gonna be walking into position, probably gonna land 2 raises, maybe in some rare circumstances gonna land a 3rd, but no heroes can withstand that much damage when it's being set up that easily. So Chappa, their mid lane is going to be a very dangerous place to be, and if Magnus or Slark go there, which they shouldn't, then they will be in for a lot of trouble. They need someone with mobility to get out of that situation.
So what heroes would qualify? I suppose like a Puck. If you're a Queen of Pain, your Blink is, well, Queen of Pain spanned out, never mind. But even if there was a Queen of Pain, Blink is probably a little bit too slow if you time the Light Strike Ray to follow up the disruption correctly. So what other heroes does it leave? Like, well, Wind Ranger might be fine, I suppose.
Wind Ranger mid is always a little bit, like up
You-
against
you-
Shadow Fiend, who could shove the wave so much better. It's already not a great matchup for the Wind Ranger, but like the Wind Run is nice to escape, but the threat of this combo from Power Rangers is mostly magic damage. Like it's the raises that's dangerous, not necessarily the right clicks. So I think Puck would have been the best counter to at least this setup for Power Rangers, but I guess Chappa are okay with the Wind Ranger as well. It could still be a Puck pickup, like Wind Ranger support with Visage. I've seen worse.
Yeah, it could have been worse, I suppose, but last band's Power Rangers. Taking out the Vengeful Spirit with the Venge, to be honest, taking Erosion would have been pretty easy for Chappa, having the Familiars, Focus Fire from the Wind Ranger as well. And of course, even in Power, helping out a little bit there for them. As for Chappa though, Power Rangers, they almost certainly have their off and mid lane heroes with the Beastmaster and the Shadow Fiend, but once more, banning out the Phantom Lancer, so we're not going to see that one. But what's to stop Power Rangers from picking up a Fist's Void once more? Or, well, it can be an Alchemist. I'm on board with that. And Aghanims, there are 3 heroes on the team that can make use of that. Are we going to see Aghanim sharing by Alchemist?
Oh man, I don't think I haven't seen that yet in any big game. I think that the Alchemist is probably just best off looking towards his own items first. Like as you said, Aghanims with Lina, Beastmaster, Shadow Demon, those are really good Aghanim upgrades. I mean, Lina grabs hers all the time. Beastmaster doesn't really grab his as often as Lina, simply because Necrobook is a little bit more important, and he's not going to get that much gold as an offlaner. But Roar gets to a broken range, and Shadow Demon with three charges of his ultimate. That is also going to be potentially really good versus Chappa. It also, I think, applies break, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, maybe it's going to be something down the line, but for right now, it's a 3rd stun. Like, they have the Shadow Demon disruption into Lina LSA, into Alchemist concoction. And for Chappa, it's going to be difficult for anyone to survive that again. Like, the stuns and setups that Power Rangers have in their lanes is really hard if they actually are able to play the game.
So, Alchemist definitely does fit at least into the lineup a little bit. Of course, the amount of minus armor that he will have for Roshan is also going to be pretty massive. But Chappa, last pick for them was the Night Stalker here, so wanting to get a little bit of extra aggression themselves maybe, but is this a new player for them, or did they just change names between the games?
I think it's a new player. The name is definitely different. The icon looks a little bit different. So I'm going to say it's a new player. That's fine with me. I don't care. It's up to the admin to police that stuff. But yeah, it's a Night Stalker, and it's probably going to be one of those lighter position 4 Night Stalkers at that. Together with the Visage, could potentially be very dangerous, but only if you catch the supports of Power Rangers out of position. But right now, guys, this is game 2. Power Rangers going to be loading out into their lanes. They're going to send Cheshire Cat. Oh, they're all properly tagged up. Oh my god, that's so sweet. Cheshire Cat's going to be on the Beastmaster. We got King R. Played a Mean Rubik. Last game is going to be playing the Shadow Demon this game. Ditchy Ra on the Alchemist. Sunlight is going to be taking the Shadow Fiend once again. Again, played a 6 Shadow Fiend last game, and it's going to be Lina, played by J4, but they're going to get into a little bit of a squabble. Skewer backwards, though. King R is going to get a lot of distance away from the rest of the team. Now, Disruption onto the Night Stalker. LSA going to connect. No real follow-up just yet. Shadow Fiend does not want to get into a fight at level 1, and Chappa, they'll just be damage traded.
I really thought they were going to go for it, just teacher, skill up the unstable concoction, but I think they wanted to just make the escape, or if Chappa aren't there as all 5, then maybe go for some aggression. Just because if you're going to be a safe lane alchemist, you probably want to go for the Grievous Creed on the first level, whereas if you had skilled unstable concoction, it will slow down the farmer. Though, never mind, another disruption, but the shackle shot lands. King R, oh, never mind, nice flight strike ray. Sasha, can he follow up with the pounce? He's killing it, he gets close enough, gets the first blood as well with it. And I don't think anybody else will go down. G4 getting chased down by Mikelorus here, but Skewer was already used, so everybody else is going to be fine, and I have no idea why Power Rangers went in like that.
It's a 4v5 situation, and Power Rangers are bottled up. Like, if you look at just the area at which Power Rangers can position themselves, it's a very, very small circle. Whereas for Chappa, they have, like, this whole entire area where they could be pretty much anywhere, and Power Rangers, no matter how you slice it, should not have been going into that fight because it was a 4v5. Their Beastmaster grabbed the top lane bounty rune. That's cool and everything, good for Cheshire Cat, but without that 5th hero, they're just missing another 5th hero's worth of health, worth of armor, and worth of right clicks. Maybe he wouldn't have even gotten that many right clicks to begin with, but still, Cheshire Cat not being in that fight means you don't take that fight. And for Power Rangers, that's going to be them giving up first blood. Hey, at least Shadow Fiend doesn't die, at least Ditchy Rod doesn't die. If anyone is going to die, they would want it to be King R.
Yeah, now, just since we didn't get to introduce them, I'm going to introduce the Chappa side fast as well. Nicaril is going to be in on the Magnus, Pasha and Woken in the mid lane on the Wind Ranger, with Lacey on the Night Stalker, Metrim on the Visage, and the last one is going to be Sasha Akasha on the Slark.
I actually gave that team to you intentionally because I have no idea how to pronounce this Night Stalker name.
And Russian letters so easy. They're so easy.
Yeah, sure.
I swear, I don't live in a country next to Russia.
Yeah. You definitely live in like Australia or something, or
absolutely
South America, as far away from Russia as possible, and you just know it. That's confirmed.
Man, it's common knowledge in South America and Australia that everybody learns Russian letters. Not the words, but only letters.
My American education system has failed me, clearly. We don't learn that
absolutely.
Here. Oh, man.
But at the moment, Grievous Creed has been skilled by Ditchara. Didn't get it on the first level, had Acid Spray beforehand. But now is going to be able to just speed up his farm and wouldn't be super shocked. Oh, mid lane though, Sunlight drops extremely low. Pasha Invoker gets the shackle shot as well. A few more attacks is all she needs, but loses the vision.
But she still has a power shot. Turn around, snipe, gonna connect! What a snipe from this Wind Ranger. I'm pretty sure Nicaril would have gotten the kill if the Power Ranger missed, if the power shot missed rather. Power Rangers are on the team. But you know what? It's style points again, and that counts a lot. Pasha Invoker is going to be off to a pretty nice start in lane with a solo kill on this Shadow Fiend, but Shadow Fiend's still keeping up in CS.
Yeah, it's not all that bad. Plus Alchemist, I mean, with the Grievous Creed, as he gets more points into it, he's just going to be farming so much faster than anybody else on the map. Especially should he try to go for more amplification of farm, like at the Hand of Midas on top of the Grievous Creed. Some people might call it overkill, but it's going to be like unstoppable amounts of farm maybe if he does go for that one. And of course, Shadow Fiend being on the Radiant side, just stacking up for herself is going to be somewhat easy as well. Of course, probably the supports will also help out. I mean, J4 as well as King R definitely have shown themselves to be great supports in general. Although Metrim takes some harassment by Cheshire Cat, but with the Grave Chill, will just make Cheshire Cat think twice.
And Cheshire Cat can't really get kills here. He doesn't have the burst damage. The boars will need to be 2 of them, and someone has to be very out of position. Like right now, actually, Metrim is out of position with 2 boars up. These guys don't do a lot of damage per hit, but it does add up pretty quickly, especially when you have 0 armor like that Visage. Beastmaster boars, and they do a lot of damage. Usually it's the slow that is the most relevant thing, but man, at level 4, it's 60 damage a pop, and they attack really quickly as well. It does do a lot of damage as they get leveled up. But Cheshire Cat, he's level 3, pushing level 4 right now. Same exact situation as the Magnus. I would expect Chappa to be doing a little bit better job to keep Cheshire Cat out of the lane, mostly because the threat of Slark is so great to the Beastmaster, whereas the threat of Alchemist, not really there. Now with 1 point in that stun, it does have some sort of threat, but not in a huge way. It is actually going pretty well, Power Rangers, for these lanes. The exception being Sunlight, who just dropped in the mid lane. He is now outlast hitting the Wind Ranger, so he's recovering and then some.
Yeah, it's like you said earlier on already that Shadow Fiend, he just pushes the lane so much faster. It's just once you get the Shadow Races up, once you get Necromancer stacks, it's not all that hard to last it. Of course, Wind Ranger himself. Oh, Cheshire Cat though, Grave Chill is there. Void was already used. If the Pounce connects, it should be a kill, but Pounce not quite enough. There's a nice defensive disruption, forcing the enemy to be under the tower for a little while longer. But in the end, they get the kill, although Lacey himself might go down the tower. He's just so damn tanky, but Shadow Poison does get the kill. Sasha still has Shadow Poison, the third stack as well. And Kingar, man, what a player. Although Shadow Fiend did get picked off in the mid lane, it's still just huge Shadow Demon plays.
Yeah, man, King R in this game and the last has just been going off. Shadow Demon, his Shadow Poison does do a deceptively high amount of damage. He didn't have to do a lot of damage in that fight, simply because Slark was so weak, and while they were diving the tower, things kind of just worked for itself. But still, Shadow Demon landing 3 stacks of poison, where the 3rd stack was very difficult to land. I think it would have done, 2 stacks would have done it, but still, extra style points for King R, I suppose. That's going to give him his Tranquil, so the ability for the Shadow Demon to get in and out of these fights now with that extra movement speed, very, very convenient for him. But, man, Shadow Fiend dying over in the mid lane, I did not catch that one, but that honestly should not be happening. This Wind Ranger is getting a much better time than you would really expect versus a Shadow Fiend. And now with Phase Boots, she's going to be hitting pretty hard as well, almost on par with the Shadow Fiend, who has, a lot of souls and Necromastery damage.
Yeah, I mean, Shadow Fiend though still ahead in last hits, plus has a couple of jungle stacks to take care of. And not only that, last game we saw Shadow Fiend just getting 2 kills, I think it was on the Storm Spirit rather early on. And thanks to that being 2 levels ahead, whereas Sunlight as well as Pasha Invoker, they're on the same level. There's only like a half level difference, even less than that. So even though Wind Ranger gets the kills, well, I suppose if you look at the net worth, there's still a pretty big difference, just because Shadow Fiend is losing gold while dying. But Shadow Fiend is one of the better heroes to recover by just flash farming.
And the stacks have already been created a little bit in the Radiant jungle. A double in the hard camp, that's actually a double, I guess a double in both hard camps. It's not the most, but Sunlight can clear that out so easily that, it might be a little bit more stacking for Power Rangers. As J4 on the Lina, King R, aside from his rotation up towards top, they aren't really hugely needed to deal with this Magnus. Night Stalker is coming into the bottom lane, and Alchemist is not that healthy right now. If he doesn't salve up right now, he might actually be in a little bit of trouble if a Skewer lands. Just for that small amount of slow, that might be killing the Alchemist.
Well, we'll see if Night Stalker at level 3 is going to be enough, but it very well might be. It's just because the supports aren't all that close either. J4 is the closest, but he would have to start running like towards the lane immediately. But the Skewer, of course, Magnus landing that one is probably the hardest part, although he is 20 movement speed faster than the Alchemist.
And Alchemist should probably salve up soon. He will pretty much get full value out of it. Plus 400 to what he is right now is pretty good, but with the 3rd TP coming in, that's going to blow the entire thing. I think also the creep spotted the Night Stalker, so that is also pretty darn clear what's happening. He's going to salve up, and now if he gets jumped, he will have potentially a little bit of backup. King R and J4 right around the corner with Tranquils on the Shadow Demon to come in a little bit faster. They'll stick around, sure, but they can't get any kills, and Alchemist, he's going to get slowed down a lot in his farming. This hurts an Alchemist by quite a bit. You lose those stacks of Grievel's Greed, and then you get less gold in the long run. Plus, you're just not last hitting.
Well, he did go into the jungle now, help out just keep those stacks up a little bit. And it's just sick how good like small camps are for the Alchemist. Easier to farm, the more gold, although he might get jumped. Nicker wants to come in once more, but Kingar is close by with a nice defensive disruption if he wants to use it.
There's the disruption right now. They lose the Beast Smash up towards top, but the LSA can land onto Nickerill. No Skewer back. That concoction not quite going to do it. Shadow Poison stack 2. It will. King R is going to draw another kill off of the Shadow Poison, and they get the LSA onto Metrum. With J4 attacking really quickly, Dragon Slave will draw that kill for the Lina. They lose the Beastmaster up towards top off of a rotation from the Wind Ranger, but they keep Ditchura alive on the bottom lane, get him a bunch of experience, and it's the supports to ultimately claim that victory, especially that Shadow Demon, man. This guy is going to get level 6 really early, and level 6 on Shadow Demon, it's not exactly level 6 on Visage, but man, it does add another slow, and that is also doing a lot of damage.
Oh, look at Alchemist. He did pick up a Void Stone from the side shop. It's a new addition to the side shop, I believe, but first of all, he gets a little bit of mana regen, which is always going to be nice, but that almost certainly means that there's a Battle Fury incoming, so Ditchura, he's going to go for the extended amount of farm. Although, funny enough, he's not even number 1 in net worth at the moment, just because Pasha Invoker has done such a great job in just setting up kills everywhere.
This is a hero that can snowball a lot, the Wind Ranger. Doesn't necessarily have to, but can also remain relevant, very relevant in the late game. Should she go for this Aghanim Scepter Maelstrom build as probably the most common scaling build for the Wind Ranger. She is just farming up right now. Cheshire Cat does have his Roar up, and we have the Night Stalker, still level 3 only, however. Thinking about going in, they need a third hero actually here and able to participate, but with Night Stalker, the Knight is running out, so this is not the right time to go in. Cheshire Cat's going to get the Roar out, which is going to push the Slark back. Cheshire Cat, though, still probably going to die to the Soul Assumption. He will. No, King R's going to come in and save him for a little while longer. Now going for the Night Stalker. Cheshire Cat is going to slide up to the north, still alive from the Soul Assumption. One more right click will kill him off, but he will trade his life from the Visage. In the meantime, they also kill off the Night Stalker. Now trying to go for this Slark, who's going to try TP out, will get away. That's still a 1-for-2 trade. King R, again, being just a baller on this Shadow Demon.
Yeah, I mean, it's just... The dive took so much from them, and not only King R coming in, also the Primal Roar onto the Night Stalker, just pushing back Slark. Even just the extra couple of seconds probably made the difference there. It just it feels like Chappa, that they just shouldn't try to go on the Beastmaster anymore. I mean, he's not the squishiest of heroes, 900 health, 5 armor as well on top of that. Not even carrying a magic wand or anything to help out even further. But man, just King R is so on point.
In the bottom lane, Alchemist, he loses his supports because they go up to the top lane, yet he's still doing just fine. He was pushing the lane, and now he is a little bit closer towards his Battle Fury with already one sword, and I guess the greater portion of his other components up on him. I think this is probably the more desirable build compared to the Hand of Midas, since, well, Hand of Midas is very bursty, whereas Battle Fury is a little bit more linear, and that's what Alchemist really wants. He's going to have that one, and then his acceleration is going to be out of control. Pasha Invoker is right around the corner, however. This Wind Ranger is packing some serious heat. Should she land a Shackle Shot, then Dichira is going to be in a lot of trouble, but he does still have a lot of time for Chemical Rage, so this is going to be a tough kill for the Chappa side, but it will be a kill that they can take, knowing that there is most likely not going to be any support incoming for the Alchemist, because all the TPs were just used to get up towards top.
So even if the Alchemist dies, it's probably not that big of a deal, although it's still going to be a pretty solid kill for them to get, especially if Pasha Invoker himself gets that one. But if he finishes the Battle Fury now, what do you think the next item will be? Is it just going to be AC next, or do you start bulking up a little bit with maybe like a heart or something?
I think I like AC here. Chappa have a lot of physical damage. Like right now, they're using their spells, obviously, Power Shot, Shockwave, etc., but when the Wind Ranger actually does scale up, it's the Focus Fire damage that hurts. Also, Caress is going to help a lot in that, and then it's just like Maelstrom damage, which you're not really going to build magic resistance on the Alchemist. Glimmer Cape, probably the most likely, but even then not likely. And Slark is also going to be more and more physical as the game progresses, so I like the AC for the Alchemist. Aside from that, something a little bit more mid-rangey like a Sanjayasha, also not terrible, but generally as Alchemist, you're going to go for items that are going to stick in your inventory for the entire game. AC, pretty darn good. I think there are also probably items, they're definitely items I'm not considering right now. Let's see what else you can get.
I guess Basher, but that's probably a little bit later on, like Basher into Abyssal Blade. Although I think it's going to... Oh, Monkey King Bar up against Wind Ranger, but later, those are items probably. That is probably going to get later. And to be honest, he only has 2 base armor. I didn't even realize that it's that bad for the Alchemist. So AC would definitely help out.
Yeah, that got nerfed in like 0.80 or something, or even earlier. He used to have some armor, but I think they switched that when he got his ultimate reworked. Maybe even earlier than that. He always didn't really have that much armor, even though he's wearing a helmet right now. Safety first.
It's only a helmet. I mean, it's so easy to cut him. Just
not his head.
His belly is exposed.
Yeah, they probably should have invested in a little bit more protection.
Plus, there's like, it's not the big guy himself, there's a small guy as well on top of him. And if like the Alchemist just stumbles and looking at that guy, he doesn't seem all that smart, he might just trip over himself.
Especially when you have like a Slark who is typically going to go from the back. You just jump on him, cut the little dwarf's head off. It looks like a dwarf or a gnome or something.
Yeah, it's probably a gnome, but I have no idea what the Dota gods created here.
There's nothing right now that we could actually read to tell. But yeah, this is... Yeah, Alchemist is 2 people, characters, things. 2 units of people.
Indeed. It would be fun if you could somehow split them up and like each would do their own stuff, own abilities and whatnot.
Upgrade.
Need new acronyms. To be
Get
honest,
a
it's
chemical rage ogre and a chemical rage gnome. So legit.
what would the gnome do? Go hit them with a like limp fist or something?
He's the one who throws the unstable concoction, right? Because like when you throw the unstable concoction, like the big guy stands still. He doesn't actually have like a throwing animation because his hands are
Oh
full
yeah.
of swords, right? So it's probably the gnome that does like the chemical work, and it's the alchemist that just does. He's the muscle.
So if this is spread up, is it just gonna be an unstable concoction like times three or like hyped up somehow?
Maybe it'll be like Brewmaster, where like they split and they each have their own abilities. You know, you get like some
Yeah, I mean,
berserk
I don't know
thing on
what
the
abilities
ogre.
would the small guy have.
I mean, he'll have like, so you basically just have two units, one with unstable concoction, acid spray, maybe something else, and then the alchemist, like the bottom unit, the big guy, he'll have like some sort of steroid, like he'll be like a lone druid bear or something like that. I think that's fair.
Yeah, probably
We
so.
should be Ice
Punch Invoker
Frog.
in the meantime. He has scouted out a triple stack, I think it is. Oh no, it's even a quad stack. Does get only one small creep, and now Tichara comes in with the help of Sunlight. They even have another, I think, a triple stack as well in the medium camp. Just so many stacks, Power Rangers. They've been doing a grand old job, and Alchemist, well, he's dropping pretty low, but pops the ultimate there, and it's just gonna be so much farm for him. Although he needs help from the others, Mech comes out for Sunlight. It's still just Creeble Screed at its best.
And Wind Ranger stole like a couple of the smaller creeps. It's not really going to bother Dichara too much, although it does bother Alchemist more so than other heroes. Now's about the time where Power Rangers are looking to clear these stacks just because they're spotted out, they can't keep them hidden, and with Chappa's lineup, with Power Shot especially, it's pretty easy for them to jack those stacks up. So Dichara is going to start clearing. This will probably give him enough gold for his Battle Fury. Well, who am I kidding? He has maxed out Creeble's Greed. He's going to have that Battle Fury very shortly. And in the meantime, Treasure Cat, he's up on top just trying to get a little bit more experience. Haven't really seen Treasure Cat on the roam just yet, but it's going to be Sunlight to get caught, first of all, by Sasha. He has a raise, but he can get, first of all, pounce down to the floor. Shadow Dance is up, so raising kind of not going to do that much. And well, actually, this Night Stalker is going to run straight into a Roar. Delivery service from Cheshire Cat. That's going to set up for a Dragon Slave. Right clicks will kill off the Night Stalker. That's a pretty sweet kill for them. In the meantime, Alchemist is still farming, and no one on Chappa is actually in a position to contest this. So the past minute or so has been fantastic for Power Rangers, unless Magnus finds someone with his Invis rune.
Just look at the Alchemist farm all of a sudden. Oh, top lane, there's the Demonic Purge onto Metrim, but the Familiars and the Soul Assumption do make Kingar back off. Although Laguna Blade, not enough mana on J4, doesn't even need it with Cheshire Cat helping out. Lina got the kill on the Visit. J4 though will get stone formed on top of his head. So they get one return. Oh, Shadow Demon did die as well. There's the Cheshire Cat. Skewer back from Nicaril. So in the end, a 3-for-1 trade only.
Pretty big kill series for Chappa. They lose a hero, but it's a Visage. Doesn't really matter. Power Rangers definitely didn't expect that many heroes to come in, but that's what happens when you dive a tier 1 tower. You're asking the enemies to reinforce, and reinforce they did. Shadow Fiend, Alchemist getting a little bit of time to free farm in the meantime, but making those types of trades, though your Alchemist is farming very rapidly, is pretty darn risky. So for Chappa, they're going to capitalize on that by putting a lot of pressure up towards the tier 1 top lane. Honestly, they probably could have even gotten this tower if they left their heroes there. Just seems like they didn't think they were able to get it.
Yeah, maybe they expected the Alchemist to go a little bit deeper on with the push and just gank him that way. Just because his net worth is getting out of control, and if you kill him, it's just going to be a massive bounty on his head. Although mid lane, Familiars, I think, see J4. No, actually they don't. The vision isn't all that big around them, I suppose, but Power Rangers ping them out anyway, just saying like, oh, they're there, and oh, Dichara might be in trouble, although he backs off just in time. He should be at a good enough position to escape if he gets jumped.
And he has allies that are kind of nearby as well. He's still farming it up, and Chappa in the meantime might lose a tier 1 tower. They're not really doing anything with any other heroes in the meantime. Familiar, deny, that was close, but not quite there. Shackle gonna throw, not connect onto J4 yet, still he's gonna get roughed up real bad. Now here comes the Night Stalker. King R is right on the low ground though. If the Night Stalker were to go in, he would not get much done, and up towards the top, the tower is also going to be beaten down. Fortify is there, but Cheshire Cat has a bird and double boars working away. This tower is going to die one way or another, and the rest of Power Rangers, minus Alchemist, are incoming as well. Chappa, they have just lost 2 towers while gaining absolutely nothing in the meantime, like a little bit of farm time on some heroes, but for Power Rangers, again, a minute where they got nothing but wins.
Although Chappa now, they are going to make their move, go for the tier 1 on the bottom lane. It's going to be extremely easy for them, but Power Rangers, they're already going to be just pressuring the tier 2. Wind Ranger now has picked up a Blink Dagger, but I mean, it's nice to just get the angle for the Shackle Shot, that's for certain, but doesn't actually help you output damage all that much. But do we have a Blink Dagger? Yes, Magnus has enough gold for the Blink as well, if we can just purchase and bring it out to him.
Oh, Metrum gonna get roared. Very easily brought down. Shackle gonna fail. J4 in a little bit of trouble. Now Silence as well, but the Requiem's gonna be wound up, landing directly on Sasha as he teleports in. Shadow Fiend's gonna do a lot of damage in this fight, but he doesn't have the proper backup right now because Cheshire Cat's too weak to go in. Sunlight dropping very low very quickly. Boar not helping him out either. Shackle going to fail, but it won't matter because he will get the kill anyway. And the Night Stalker will slip away, albeit barely. King R being chased down by the Slark and Familiars in the meantime. He'll be brought down as well. Chappa, they take a really good trade and a pretty nice advantage for them. 1700 experience, 1100 gold gained. And Power Rangers taking a 4v5 fight there. Yeah, again, Ditchira is farming a lot in the meantime, but sooner or later, Power Rangers are going to need some sort of frontliner so that the Shadow Fiend doesn't instantly die in these fights.
Yeah, he just lacked the mana for the mech as well. Had he cut the mech, he would have at least survived for like another 4-5 seconds maybe, because all the spells were already used on the Wind Ranger. But Ditchira up to 3.9k gold in the meantime. It's still some space created, though Power Rangers could have taken it better. At least they did get the Night Stalker with some nice micro from Cheshire Cat. Just because he used the Necro Archer mana burn to secure the kill that way. So that was nice to watch, but Familiars come to the bottom lane. Ditcher, I don't think he has quite enough to kill them. Mid lane though, we get the Sunlight just getting shackled up and might be able to turn things around. Nope. Def Requiem though does get the counter kill on Slark. Never be in melee range.
He doesn't have that many souls. Now the rest of the team is going to come in. King R does save the Luna for a little while longer, gets the curse on the Night Stalker, but J4, he's going to dodge the power shot, but he can't dodge everything. Still, the Night Stalker is in quite a bit of trouble right now. I think this might be lethal. King R is being chased down by Familiars. Metro has another soul assumption. Blink forward. Pasha is going to get roared straight to the face. King R is still alive at 11 HP. He will go down, however, to the Night Stalker. Axe is going to fly, and Pasha going to land the shackle this time. Church Cap, but here comes Ichira. One more smack is going to kill off the Wind Ranger. It's unfortunately going to stun himself, but it's fine because he has the Shadow Blade now, and he's going to use it to join the fight. Finally, it's a 3-for-3 over in the mid lane. Both sides going to get a lot of golden experience. Chappa slightly more. But that fight, unlike the other ones, was really, really messy, and it also included the Alchemist, although only if by a little bit.
Well, considering that it was Chappa chumping Power Rangers, getting a perfect shackle onto the Shadow Fiend, it didn't go all that bad. I mean, just Requiem of Souls doing a crazy amount of damage as always. But Ditchira is going to have his Silver Age. I think at least that's what he's going to go for, unless it's going to be a BKB from the Ogre Club. Just the amount of net worth he has over everybody else is really crazy. I mean, the net worth lead is about 5,500 for Power Rangers, and that's all Alchemist.
He's like doubling up the Wind Ranger, and even then, Alchemist, just if he had equal net worth to the Wind Ranger, would have more advantage. RP gonna connect onto Digiraw, skewer him right back into tower range. He does have his ultimate active, but his ultimate isn't gonna perform a miracle. Metrum drops very low with the Shadow Demon damage. It's also not gonna be enough. Now King R in a little bit of trouble. He'll get Soul Assumption to the face. That's gonna be yet another kill, and they're gonna chase for another. J4, slow on this Lena, is gonna get chased down by Night Stalker. She's definitely going to die. The only question is, by who? It's going to be the Wind Ranger. That's a 3 kill for Chappa and a big RP from the Magnus. That Alchemist kill in and of itself is value. That's 2,300 gold for Chappa with 2,500 experience.
Man, just the high net worth value targets there, but Alchemist did finish up the Silver Age. In the meantime, Cheshire Cat gets his Blink Dagger as well, so it's not all bad, although Pasha Invoker gonna get close to his own Aghanim Scepter on the Wind Ranger, which allows you to just go for Roshan, go for kills that much easier. Now they're going for a tier 1 as well, Focus Fire already used. Sasha just comes in, Dark Pact, trying to clear up those creeps. Just to clear the space for Pasha to keep on going with the Focus Fire. A TP coming in as well, might be a huge mistake, although there's a Shadow Blade coming in. Unstable Concoction is not going to land on anybody but himself.
Well, he's still invisible, but he's now going to break it. Chappa do take the tower down, and unfortunately had to back off because Wind Ranger simply didn't have the mana to actually fight there. If she was at full mana, definitely would have been a good team fight, but it's Slark now with an Invis rune and a Shadow Blade, so double Invis. He's going to be spotted by random sentries, so now he knows what's up. Cheshire Cat has Aurora. She'll run into J4, will pounce right over the LSA, but still gets hit by it. Now Laguna Blade as well. Slark going to slip away. Axe is going to fly, will get the kill. Metrum walking awkwardly in. Ditchira is going to lay some acid down. 3 shots to kill off the Visage. That's an easy kill. Nikra also going to get roared up in the background. He'll be brought down. It's a 3 kill for Chappa. We just saw this from the other team. We just saw this, like, the other fight reversed happen, but this time Power Rangers, they're the ones to win, and they're conveniently right next to the Roche pit while they do take their victory. They will have to deal with a slew of power shots and familiars coming in and shackle shots. A very inconvenient Roshan for them, but Pasha Invoker, I don't think this is a play that he wants to be making, although familiars to stun up first. It's going to be, yeah, okay, Aegis on the Alchemist. And they also take down a familiar, maybe even 2 here. It's a pretty big win for Power Rangers, to say the least.
G4 has to make sure that this doesn't stay around for too long as a lonely supporter, but that fight indeed, and to be honest, I didn't expect the Slark to drop that fast. Once the Light Strike Ray got dodged by the pounce, I was like, oh, he can actually go and do something. But got Laguna Bladed, got just Demonic Purge straight after as well, and then the Wild Access to just 2 damage. I mean, Shadow Dance is nice, but it doesn't make you unkillable for sure, at least when you have such a low amount of just base health. So after Shadow Blade, definitely needs to get some strength items. And Overclub is there for him for now. Is he really going for a BKB?
Yeah, BKB or
it's Silver Edge probably for him as well, right?
Yeah, or Silver Edge. Like, all these are items that will, bottom line, give Slark more HP. And at a certain point, like, yeah, you could argue which one's better, but as long as he's getting HP, he's going to be happy, because he's clearly burstable at this point. Lena's also closing into a level 2 Laguna Blade, so she's going to have a lot more burst there. So Slark needs more health right now, and well, he might have a fight to deal with. He's pushing up towards top. Should be an even tier 1 for tier 1 right now. However, there is a smoke incoming from Power Rangers. They might intercept the courier on the retreat, so that's going to be pretty sweet for them. But they're also going to wrap around and catch King R if anyone is going to get caught here. King R is in a lot of trouble right now. There's the darkness. King R put into a corner. J4 as well. Sunlight and Ditchira going to fall back right into a Night Stalker. Again, his clutches. Metrum's going to hit with the LSA. He's going to find J4 first. Ditchira going to land the stun. There's the RP. Necro's going to catch 2. However, Pasha Invoker's roaring in the background. Can't do any damage in the meantime. He's going to die immediately. Requiem as well. Sunlight's still at full HP. It's still so far 3 for 1. With DD on Sunlight, they'll chase for the Night Stalker, kill him off. Now they see Slark, who's going desperately for J4. Gets the LSA before she dies, however. And now the Slark is going to get also brought down. It's a 5 for 2. And Chappa had perfect positioning for that fight, but the roar from Cheshire Cat brick-walled the damage output from that RP, and it's a disaster for Chappa instead.
Yeah, it was a really nice just angle of initiation, but I think they lacked the proper vision to just go for it. Go for the targets they wanted to from the start. And of course, probably Beastmaster scouting a little bit out with his Hawk himself. But all in all, Power Rangers, great team play, just getting lots of farm, getting them towers down. Sunlight now has his BKB. Alchemist up to another 3.1k gold, has the plate mail. Necro level 3 finished on Cheshire Cat. Whereas Chappa, what's their item progression? I mean, Visage, about halfway through that. Aghanims a little bit more. Silver Edge is going to be there on Slark. But they just need a little bit more Aghanims, also halfway through on Wind Ranger. I mean, Magnus, I suppose, doesn't need more in theory, but Refresher Orb would be nice, but it's not going to be there anytime soon.
Chappa have all this single target damage, yet Power Rangers, with the BKB now in the Shadow Fiend, make it so that he's not a viable single target to focus. Alchemist has the Assault Cuirass in the works, plus with just Chemical Rage, he's not an easy target to focus either. At that point, yeah, you can kill off the supports, and that's what Chappa are going to have to do, but it's at a certain point also not going to be good enough, especially when Pasha Invoker gets jumped right now. King R, well, there's a blink out from the Wind Ranger, does see a target incoming. She knows that the Lena and probably Beastmaster are here, but they don't know that King R is invis. And Pasha Invoker, if he gets put into a bubble, he may very well go down right now. King R is going to get the disruption, Shadow Poison, so there's no blink out right now. LSA to connect. There's the damage output from these heroes. That's going to kill off the Wind Ranger very easily. Beastmaster is on a secret solo mission to get himself killed. Is going to bring the Visage low, but Gravekeeper's Cloak can keep him alive. Yet it's still a 1 for 1 that Power Rangers should be happy to make, especially since they get a tower on top of it.
Of course, giving or feeding away Necro units definitely isn't the greatest thing to do. It's a lot of XP, a lot of gold there as well, but the tier 2 makes more than up for it. And now, since they've mostly cleared out all the outer towers, they can just maybe sit back, relax a little bit, or just go for the top lane push. There's a TP there already, it's the Shadow Fiend by himself for now. I mean, Roshan isn't going to be up anytime soon, so if Power Rangers go for anything, it is probably going to be the tier 2 top.
And still have the Aegis, so they don't have to go for Roshan. Their Alchemist is being stalked by a Slark. But unfortunately, both these heroes have invis, so I don't think they're going to kill each other anytime soon. Alchemist has completed his AC, and he has 3 of his probably final items already in his inventory right now. It's only 20 minutes in the game, yet he has 17,000 net worth. I guess that's just Alchemist in a nutshell for you. He might actually get to a point where he gets all of his items, then he could start farming Aghanims for the team.
That would be swell. That's the word I'm going to use for that. Although Slark goes for the pounce, but doesn't get away yet. Hits Alchemist instead. Not going to get stunned, or rather, he does get stunned, but had the Shadow Dance and the stun duration was just way too short. So he gets away, but that was a little bit scary for him. Now though, Beastmaster, as was the Shadow Fiend, going into the enemy jungle. Do they have vision of anybody? Lazy pops his Darkness, and well, Familiars do scout them out. Sunlight may be forced to use his 10-second BKB. Oh, never mind, has a haste. Cheating.
That was almost really hilarious. Like, Beastmaster sees the message, is like, blinks over him, is like, peace out, Sunlight, you're on your own, bro. But no, Sunlight has his own way of getting out, maybe a little bit slower with that haste rune. Yes, slower with that haste rune, but still, they don't get into a terrible situation. And now, 5-man rotation up towards top. Ditchrod does not have his Aegis any longer, but he has a hell of a lot of net worth, and that's just as good. This tier 2 tower is probably just gonna die. It's so weak already, it's not even worth for Chappa to make this defense, although it seems like they kind of want to.
I mean, it may be a huge mistake, although then again, if it comes as surprise enough towards Power Ranger, although they know Nicoril is there at least, so they know to be afraid of the RP if nothing else.
Fortify is there, Sunlight's gonna get initiated upon from the south end of that fight, still has his BKB, but he's gonna get stunned once, BKB does go up, Requiem's gonna pop, RP onto 2 in the background, the softer targets, Treasure Cat's gonna get the 4, and Ditchrod's gonna go to town with the cleave. That's 2 kills, 3 kills already, now they're gonna go towards Metrum, gets a 4th, and where's the Slark? He's in the woods. Doesn't matter if he survives or not, because the rest of his team has already called it. RP onto 2, the only 2 that they can get, yet they don't even kill the Shadow Demon. That was a decisive fight, to say the least, from Power Rangers.
Yeah, and Treasure Cat as well, the Primal Roar and the Necro level 3, single-handedly killing the Wind Ranger, as well as a great angle for the Wild Axis, even damaging Visage at the same time. Just really great individual and team play for Power Rangers in general, and with this, they do advance to the playoffs.
So congratulations to the Power Rangers. This is going to knock Chappa out of the GameShow Invitational. So Group 4, going to advance 4 Clovers and Leprechaun, and Power Rangers in 1st and 2nd place, respectively. Again, there's only one more game of the group stage, Vega versus Immortal Mode on, which is going to be played at an unknown date. Sorry, guys, can't give that one to you now. But we are done for today here on the GameShow channel. It's going to be it. I'm Mikelorus. I hope you enjoyed the cast, and if you did, be sure to follow us on Twitter. Follow us on the channel as well. At Mikelorus for myself, at Couchor for my co-caster. And yeah, it's been a pleasure casting this one. Soon we can actually get to the bracket stage where I guess, the best teams are just going to be fighting it out. So it should get a lot better from there on out, guys. But for right now, we're done. See you later, guys. GG.